People of the universe, welcome back to the Who Even Are We podcast with Pat and Taylor.
Hello, hello.
And special guest, we've talked about him on pretty much every single podcast up to this point.
Like an honorary celebrity.
Pretty much. Ladies and gentlemen,
10 people.
welcoming to the podcast, Matt.
Hey!
I'm walking in.
Yeah, I like the Fonz.
He's from New York, so I give him proper shit for that
I got a
sometimes.
little bit of an accent, apparently.
I'm walking in.
It's just certain words.
Yeah.
Like, we'll be talking normal, and he says something, and I'm like, there it is.
Well, when I was in college, everybody would get on my case. They would be like, say tomorrow. And I'd be like, tomorrow. So I've, like, trained myself to say tomorrow because I'm like, all right.
That's like, I think I told you about that video. It was a guy from, like, Staten Island. He was in a geography class in college. And, the comedian was like, people from New York use curse words as adjectives.
Yeah.
So the professor was talking about the Falkland Islands. And the kid from Staten Island just raises his hand and goes, "Yo, professor, what fucking islands are we talking about here?"
That is like 100% accurate, honestly.
I need to find that video and send it to you because it's really funny. But either way, guys, welcoming Matt into the podcast today. So, Matt, tell us a little bit about yourself. Share with our viewers, like, what do you enjoy? What do you not enjoy?
Who are you?
Who am I?
What's your credit card number? What's your social security number? What's your address?
If I'm susceptible to any diseases, that serial number.
How many allergies do you have?
Actually, as far as I know, I think I only have one allergy. I'm not 100% on that, but I take allergy medicine every day, and it's only because I moved to Tennessee.
Yeah,
Me too. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm from New York State, and I'm pretty sure that most people hate people from New York, but I think they also hate like allergies up there, so they don't exist.
Yeah.
So I don't have them up there.
It's like
really
why
weird.
birds fly upside down over New Jersey.
Well, we
Yeah,
were
it's really
told that Chattanooga has like one of the highest pollen counts in the whole country.
This in this general region of Tennessee is one of the highest pollen counts in the country, maybe even the world.
Well, it makes sense. I've literally seen like waves of pollen in the mountains, and as I'm driving through it, I'm like, nah, I can't be allergic to pollen. There's no way.
Have y'all seen the videos of where they cut down those trees and like it's like a cartoon. They cut it down and the pollen like stays for a second and then it falls.
That's creepy.
It's terrible.
You've never seen
That's
one of
awful.
those?
No. I mean, I don't go out of my way to cut a tree down with pollen in it.
It's like Roadrunner or Wile E. Coyote when he's over the canyon and he just stands
Runs
there
for
and
a
he's just
second?
like,
Oh,
help.
so the pollen puts up a sign that says, "Ouch!"
Yeah.
Just falls to the ground. No, I have a family. I got a fiance, a 6-year-old son. His birthday is next month. We actually share the same birthday.
Shout out to your son. Not
Thank
going
you.
to name
I'm glad
drop,
you
of course.
said that again because I forgot that y'all
Yeah,
had the same birthday.
yeah, we had the same birthday. Planned it out that way. Yeah, so when we're having,
Good times.
good times, I was just like, all right, if we do it this day, he'll be born this day. That's exactly what happened. Nailed it the first try. Go me. I've worked in multiple zoos, worked with lots of dangerous animals. Now the most dangerous thing I work with is Taylor.
We should mention Matt is Taylor's coworker.
Yeah, we work kind of together. We're technically together all day on the phone.
I mean, it kind of feels like, yeah,
It's like
Matt is her work husband.
Yeah,
pretty much.
yeah. We spend a lot of time talking, or just not
Or
talking.
not talking. And we forget
Just-
we're on the phone until somebody says something like, oh.
Just
Oh, you're
listening to-
here.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of Jurassic Park series, video games, Lord of the Rings, also sports as well. Big soccer fan. So, Football. Yep. So yeah.
Cool.
That's a little bit about Matt. Well, we'll jump into the topic for today here in a second. Of course, with it being a Tuesday episode, we have a couple updates. Sourdough update, not really anything.
Well, yeah, because it's a Saturday, so we're working on a sourdough right now, but don't have it yet.
Just a bread loaf, or
I think I'm gonna make a normal loaf, like not a bread loaf, not a sandwich bread loaf, but a
normal
classic sourdough loaf
like
today. Yeah,
loaf of
'cause I haven't
sourdough.
eaten the sandwich loaf that I already have.
Well, there you
So,
go. Yeah. Gizmo's still chugging along, still doing his thing.
He's currently in the oven getting all toasty.
Yeah, he's not being baked yet, but he will be soon.
Yep.
So that's the sourdough update. Of course, with today being a Tuesday episode, it is time for a new record of the week. This record, released September 25th, 2007, is one of my favorites from this band, the Foo Fighters. This record is Echo, Silence, Patience, and Grace. A couple fun facts about this record. Runtime was 51 minutes, 12 seconds, so just under 1 hour. It's kind of an interesting time in the band when they recorded this. The first half of the record is pretty heavy rock influenced.
I don't think I know anything on this one.
You do. Well, I'll get into it.
Okay, sorry.
The second half is more acoustic. At the time, Dave wanted to do some more acoustic stuff, so that's a pretty cool factoid about that. Singles from this record include The Pretender, Long Road to Ruin, Cheer Up Boys, Your Makeup is Running, which is one of my favorites, and Let It Die, another great record, or another great song on the record. Speaking of which, this album was nominated for 5 Grammy Awards, winning Best Rock Album of the Year that year. And one last little factoid about Echo, Silence, Patience, and Grace. There is a song on this record called Ballad of the Beaconsfield Miner. It is a song that Dave wrote. I think it was in Australia. There was a mine collapse, and what the miners wanted, who were stuck underground, was an iPod loaded up with Foo Fighters records. So Dave kind of did that to honor them.
Cool.
Those miners did get out alive and everything, and they ended up putting it on the record. So it's just an instrumental, little acoustic instrumental he did, but really good song either way. But yeah, record of the week this week, Echo, Silence, Patience, and Grace by the Foo Fighters. With that, Matt.
Hi.
Taylor.
Hello.
This week we're going to be talking about video games. So one thing that we all have in common in this room, and we pretty much do
Every day at this point,
is we all get on Xbox and play Call of Duty, play Disney Speedstorm, play Ark.
There it is.
Stop making fun of me. I enjoy it.
You do.
Yeah. This is news to everybody. You ever take that thing off any sweet jumps?
Yeah.
I'll say that in person, too. But I figured we'd talk about gaming. We all grew up playing video games, and we grew up in the era. We've seen a lot of different iterations of gaming in our lifetimes. So getting right into it, kind of growing up in the golden age of consoles and the console wars. Now, we talked briefly before the podcast about the console wars. What do you know about that, Matt, other than, what we just talked about? It sounds like you were kind of like, you were familiar with it, but not super knowledgeable on it.
Yeah, well, the thing about when I was growing up, though, with video games is my mom never really wanted us to have video games. Mm-hmm. So, the only system I had was a Super Nintendo.
Great system, too.
Yeah, amazing system. And so, and that was back when the Super Nintendo was a big thing.
Yeah.
Okay, for the record, I'm not old. 34, but,
Yeah, like I said, because I'll be 30 in a few
I'm not
months.
super old. But, it was one of those times where, a game store was, full of Super Nintendo and 64,
yeah,
all those things. And then we got one for the whole family, and that's what we played. But then as the system started evolving, PlayStation and everything else, I was never able to get the new systems, but my little brother got a PlayStation 2 or something. Or I think we had a PlayStation. We had a PlayStation 2, and then I really wanted the new systems, but my mom never got them for me. Yeah, she's like, no, get out of here. Buy your own. I was like, all right, well, give me an allowance. She's like, no. I'm like, okay, well, I can't buy it then, can I? That was a whole thing. That's a whole nother
Christmas and birthday money is getting stuff somewhere.
Yeah, I was like, you should give me an allowance. She's like, no, I don't think so. How am I supposed to buy things with my own money?
Yeah, if I cut the lawn, will you give me $200 to buy this console?
Yeah, seriously. Well, I grew up on a vegetable farm, so I was actually adopted. I was adopted into a vegetable farm. I like to say that I was adopted into slavery, honestly, because I didn't get an allowance. And then her big excuse was, I'm gonna say it's an excuse. I mean, she was 100% accurate. Was you got a roof over your head, you got food on the table, that's your allowance.
Right.
I was like, no, that's understandable. However, when we go to Sam's Club,
hear me out,
and there's a computer game that I want to get, it was Zoo Tycoon for the record. And I was like, I really want this game. She's like, okay, buy it with your own money. I was like, listen, I don't have money.
Come on, Deborah.
Yeah, I don't have money to do what you want me to do here, but you won't give me an allowance. I'm like, do you see what the crossroads we're hitting here?
you see, there is a common denominator in this situation.
Yeah, there's a problem here, and I'm like, I can't do this. So she never really was into it. So finally, when I went to college,
that's when
I got I had a girlfriend at the time, and I say that like never had a girlfriend. I haven't had that many.
At that time, I had.
At that time, there was a girl in my life, and but we went to college together. And her parents were pretty cool, and they helped us get a system. So I ended up getting a PlayStation 2 when I was in college. And I remember when I came home carrying the box of PlayStation 2 in it, and my mom was like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "Oh." It's
what I bought with my allowance,
I'm
Mom.
an adult now, okay?
I went outside and sold lemonade.
Yeah, I asked for money.
They got that
somebody.
Minute Maid.
Yeah, so I got the PlayStation 2, and then God of War 3 was coming out, and I was getting a PlayStation 3 just for that game. And that's pretty much what I've done. I just pretty much followed God of War for a while. But so my experience with a lot of video games isn't like super vast when it comes to like a lot of old systems. Like I really enjoy playing the games, but I don't like. Yeah, I don't have a vast history just because of that.
Gotcha.
Or anything. But I do know that like I've argued with people about how at the time PlayStation was better than Xbox.
Well,
like
I think it's fair to say that when it came to the PlayStation 2 and the OG Xbox, and when we say OG Xbox, we're talking about not the Xbox One, but the original Xbox.
Yeah, the Xbox.
The PlayStation 2 far outperformed it. Like,
absolutely.
It was in everybody. I swear everybody I've ever met who plays video games now had a PlayStation 2.
I'm pretty sure the original PlayStation, I think, came out before Xbox did.
I think so, too.
I think so, because I think they had GameCube, but then the Xbox came later. So they had PlayStation 1, you know.
Right. PlayStation.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't PlayStation 1. It was just PlayStation. You had like Tomb Raider and like all those old school games. And then they came out with like the Xbox after.
Y'all can't see. I'm pointing up behind me. I have a PlayStation 1 game in my office on the shelf. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Yeah, I played that.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah, that one. And I played it was basically the same thing I said with bikes or something like that. And it was like crazy
BMX.
awesome. Yeah, something sort of BMX bike or something. It was like crazy awesome
Matt Hoffman,
music.
BMX.
Yeah, it was awesome.
BMX versus ATV.
I never played that. I played an ATV one where you got to you just raced multiple laps with an ATV, different maps. But again, I think that came out before the Xbox did. And then when the Xbox did come out, it was an actual box.
Yeah. So
it's not a box anymore.
when we talk about console wars, just to kind of give some background on why I wrote this into the episode. So I don't know if you've ever watched Angry Video Game Nerd at all. If not, you would love him. He does Cinemassacre too. James Rolfe is funny as hell, but he talks a lot. He grew up in the 80s, so he got to see like the Pong console too, like the Sega Genesis, the Dreamcast, all those consoles, the Nintendo 64, the Super Nintendo. So a lot of innovative stuff like the Virtual Boy, which was like, I don't know if you're familiar. That was the first like 3D gaming console, and it was terrible. It was all the game. It was black and red. Those were the colors. You didn't have any other colors.
That's an odd combination of colors.
There was like 16 games released
like the
for
darkest game ever.
Imagine playing Mario Tennis and the court is black and the lines are red. I'll have to send you that video because it's pretty funny. He duct tapes it to his head. It's hilarious. But no, I think we all grew up in the same kind of general area of gaming where everybody had a PS2.
Yeah.
And that was the console. Until later. You ended up you had one.
I had to be a full-grown adult to get one. It's fine.
But I mean, that's that was a really great era of gaming because games back then were like $30-$40, not like today where it's $70-$80 for a game.
No, they were really cheap back in the day.
And the console itself, a PS2 was probably it had to have been like $200. I think
we got ours at like a random store. It was like $150 maybe, and I think it was like a rent to own thing. So like we rented it, and then we just ended up keeping it. Is what it was. Like I don't know if they do that anymore, but that's pretty much happened. It was very, very cheap.
It's kind of like Rent-A-Center.
Yeah, it was like that.
Kind of sort of.
Yeah, it was just like some little shop somewhere that at the time was like a big deal, like Blockbuster.
Yeah,
that used to be a thing for the record. But like, and then they just like, yeah, R.I.P. But then they just disappear. There's not a thing anymore.
It's funny when I used to work in vape shops. There were times where I have to ID people. I had one guy just pull out his Blockbuster card, and I was like, "You're good."
If you have a Blockbuster card, then yeah.
Like you're solid. Like I know you're good. So
well, they had. I was talking to Taylor about it the other day. I think she said that it's no longer in existence, but there was like one Blockbuster left in like Maryland or something. There's some sort of state. It was in
Washington. It just recently closed down.
Boy, those are not the same place. Two different places.
I thought it was in Alaska. So
they don't have movies up in Alaska.
Yeah,
they got moose.
They go ice fishing all day.
Yeah, they got ice and moose.
They got caribou. Like
yeah, they got all the things up there. They don't have
freaking giant grizzly bears. Like
they have scenery. That's all I got.
So I didn't grow up. The only new game system I ever got was the Wii. Because I guess my dad played video games back in the day, which seems weird to me because like I never really saw him play any unless we were just kind of playing the PS2 or something. But my dad had a Nintendo 64, the Sega Saturn, and then we had a PS2. I think the PS2 came from Uncle Corey, which makes sense, and why I have the games that I have. But as far as like getting new
She's
systems,
got like a golden collection of PS2 games still.
That's going to be worth a lot of money one day.
Oh, I know. They're worth a lot of money now.
Yeah.
I need to figure out where to hook it up. That's the problem, is because like these TVs nowadays don't have.
They don't have the capability. Yeah, like okay,
hookup.
so you guys remember that game Duck Hunt?
Yeah.
You can't play it on a flat screen TV.
No.
You have to play it on the old school round
depth
big
perception's
ass
all
box
off.
TVs because otherwise it won't work. And like I didn't know. Like I got there's a combination of the Nintendo game where you have Super Mario and you have Duck Hunt. So I got the guns, I got everything. It was a gift for my current fiance a long time ago, and I found out that we don't have the TV capable of playing Duck Hunt, which she loves. I was like, are you freaking kidding me?
It's actually, with those older consoles now with flat screens, there's a lot of issues with them. There's companies out there that like you can send your console to them. They'll put a certain chip in it, or you can buy like an external box that you plug everything into to go to your flat screen. It's a really common issue, which sucks because like the retro gaming market, especially like 2016, 2017, started blowing up. So like you were finding classic consoles like Dreamcast, like the original Xbox, the 360, all these classic gaming consoles were now being sold for as much as a brand new console again.
Yeah.
Because they're so collectible, and there's still a huge market for that. And Taylor, she kind of brought us in. It's a little bit out of order, but it's totally fine.
Wait, Taylor.
She talked about the Wii a little bit, and that's something I wanted to talk a little bit about today too, was motion tracking gaming. There was a period of time where I'm sure you remember, and I know you remember this as well, where motion tracking gaming was like the craze.
We thought the Wii was amazing.
Okay, I'm gonna sound really old all of a sudden. I remember when the Wii came out.
Me too.
But we were like going somewhere and like there were lines.
Yeah.
Into stores waiting for the Wii to come out, and it was. I remember the commercials because when people watch commercials, you can just skip them. Yeah. But it was like
before streaming,
Chinese or Japanese or whoever brought up they're like, we would like to play, and I was like, well, I want to play now. And like that was like the big thing. But the people had lines and tents and chairs outside of stores because they only had they'd only get like 10 or something like that in the store at a time. And then, there would be everybody out the door
there were,
waiting.
Like, forums that you would go on.
Yeah,
like, Best Buy over here's getting 15 consoles.
Yeah, it was a whole thing just to get the Wii, just because it was the motion.
And that was a crazy time, too, because you got to think, the Xbox 360, the PS3, and the Wii all came out about the same time, 2006, 2007. So you had people camping out for the Wii, which... I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know it was called the Wii until I got one Christmas morning. I thought it was called the Will.
That's the worst name for a video game system ever. They're just like,
now you're playing with Will. So
it's very gender specific on a video game.
Yeah. So I remember opening it Christmas morning, and I opened the game first, and I was like, oh, it's a game for the Will. I don't have that. And then I opened it, and there's giant WII, and I was like, oh, it's Wii. Okay.
He didn't have the will to play.
Yeah,
so
what I remember from the Wii coming out was the whole remote debacle.
Yeah.
Watching TVs, and they had to come out with the wrist straps.
There
for
were
it.
injuries, bro.
Yeah. Mistakes were made.
I heard stories about people smashing their arms in the ceiling fans, like breaking bones. I was like,
People getting pissed off at the game and like try to go throw their remotes.
Throw
and
their
stuff.
remote.
So they had like rubber coverings for the remotes, and
The
then
Wii
they had,
condoms.
the Wii condoms, and then they had the wrist thing so they doesn't fly off your wrist and stuff because people would like, freak out.
People are hardcore bowling, man. They're letting go of that ball.
bro, Wii Sports went dumb back in the day. You
I love
remember
Wii Sports.
You remember boxing on Wii Sports? You sit there about to have a freaking heart attack.
I tried, like, when I play video games, like, I try to, like, look at all the intricate details and intricacies of how to play the game so that I am the best at it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how I grew up with video games. Like, I need to be the best.
Yep.
So when I was playing boxing on there, like, my motion with my hand was not the same. It was not lining up with my gloves on the screen, and I was doing everything I can to try to like real life block and hit and
Trying
stuff.
to get
It was
that
all over the
uppercut
place.
in.
I was like, I can't be the best at this. This is really irritating with me. I can't do it. Boxing was awful, and bowling,
You drop the ball.
I can't get a
1,000
straight ball on the
That was
ball. I don't know how people did it. They're like right in the middle, straight down, strike. I'm like, I do that and I get gutter ball. I'm like, look, I'm not doing anything weird. How is this possible?
Exactly how many clicks over and how many clicks to like angle my body, and I would get a strike every time.
Yeah, I figured it out eventually because I noticed that, like, I guess when my wrist goes up, it flicks to one side when I go way up in the
Get
air
that
right before I hit the
curvature,
fan.
spin.
And so, like,
before you hit the
right
fan.
before I hit the fan, I twist my wrist. So, like, I'll put my character all the way to the right next to the gutter, and then I'll do it like I normally would, and it curves right in, perfect strike every time.
Hell yeah.
I was like, wish I could do that in real life.
Wii golf was a lot of fun too.
Click, click, click.
Like, you know, when I have a bowling ball right before I hit the fan
Yeah.
with the bowling ball, you know, I should do the same thing.
No, Wii Sports was like it came with the Wii. That's another thing. You used to get games with your
Yeah, you get like
console.
sampler games because
Like PlayStation 2, you got like a disc with a sample of like 10 games on it.
demo disc like
And
you
it
had,
would
like demo
be
games.
like, and it was so fun because you just play the hell out of that, and then usually
the
you
same
buy a game
demo
with
over
it.
and
Yeah.
over and over, and it was totally worth it. Just
Oh,
have a demo.
100%.
I didn't need a game. That
Then
was fun on it.
we can talk about the tragedy that is Wii Fit. It made all of us feel like we are severely obese.
Oh my god, there's a video. It's like a meme video out there now, and it's this girl in Wii Fit. She was a bigger girl. She stood on the Wii Fit board, and it just went all the way like in 0.2 seconds to obese, and then it played that little dut sound like the trombone, and she just goes, "Mom!"
Well, there's nothing worse than being like,
It's like, damn, I don't need my video games to tell me.
yeah, a 12-year-old girl who's like, you know, back then so nowadays plus size is like that's what you're seeing. Back then it was like the slim supermodel. You got to be 6 foot tall, less than 100 pounds.
I used to look like that.
Yeah, me too.
Not you, Hot Pat. That's like that was never a supermodel.
But you step on the scale thing and it goes, oh, and you're just like, well, this is off to a great start.
Oh,
It's like, I don't want to play this anymore.
your heart sinks
I
and
used
you're
to
real
get
nervous.
so mad at my brother because he would step on it and be like, healthy, and I'm like, yeah, well, you're
Damn
like
it, Trevor.
7 years old.
I get on and it's like wah wah wah.
Yeah.
But that was like a really big innovation into gaming. And then right after that, you know, talking about like, I want to go back to the PlayStation 2 and like that era. But, you know, after the Wii came out and was just this smashing success, you saw other companies like PlayStation had the PlayStation Eye camera, and I can't remember what it was called, but they had their version of that. And then Xbox had Kinect. And I remember when Kinect came out, I was so stoked. I was like, man, I want this Kinect
It
so
didn't
bad.
do well.
And it flopped
I forgot that
flopped.
existed.
so hard.
No, it was not good. Not good. I tried it once and I was like, this isn't Just Dance. I can't.
It
I
worked.
can't do this. I mean, I killed Just Dance with that one.
I remember Christmas, I got a 360 with the Kinect, and I went and plugged it in upstairs. I had to stand like I had to push my TV back and like all this stuff just to play it. And my mom's like, she came upstairs. What are you doing? I was like, I'm playing with the Kinect. She's like, sounds like you're going to come through the floor. I'm like, thanks, Mom.
You're like, thanks. I've been working hard.
Yeah.
It's going well.
I'm trying to drive, man. It sucks.
Well, I feel like the Wii did really well in games like that because of the fact that we weren't just like we could get movement in. We weren't just sitting here for hours on end.
Except
playing.
people figured it out.
Well, that's
because really you just needed to move
for
your
bowling,
wrist.
you just gotta do it just right. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when I played Just Dance against people,
Yeah.
they'd stand still and not move, and they would just follow the colored hand that was on the person, and they would be getting perfects every time because all I had to do is move their wrist.
That's.
But that's the thing. Like people were like, "Oh, you're supposed to get up and move with this." I found a loophole. You don't have to.
well,
You just gotta
then-
move your. So they got like really strong forearm.
Just sit down.
But that's it. Everything else is
Just
floppy.
sit down and do jazz hands. You're good.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It didn't make any sense.
So no, I mean the really cool part that I loved about the Wii was the fact that you could play GameCube games on it as well. The GameCube to me was just as important as the PlayStation 2. I remember me and my brother we wore PlayStation games out, like Nintendo GameCube games out, like Super Smash. We wore it out. There was a game called 007 Nightfire that
that was like one of the big game franchises back then.
Yeah,
Ever since
and it was
007.
like the OG shooter game because you could set up like a private match and go play each other. And I remember my brother and I did a 5-second match and I killed him. And he's like, "You're the all-time champion of James Bond." And I'm like, I still hold that title, still proud of it. But the GameCube, man, that was such a great console too. And that was the line of Nintendo consoles at that time was like, you got to remember, like Nintendo is still a big entity now, but it's not what it used to be. Nintendo used to run the show.
Oh yeah.
And now you have games like you have your Switch, you have the Wii U, and the Switch is great. Don't get me wrong. You have those classic Mario titles, Super Smash, Luigi's Mansion, all of that. But like, I think with the current age of gaming, things like that are really going to be they're kids games for sure. But like most adults, I don't think. I can't even say that. There's a lot of adults who would still tear up Mario Kart and Super Smash, and
me and my son both tear up Mario Kart.
Heck
to
yeah.
this day.
Mario
honestly.
Kart was so much fun.
Well, I think a lot of the motion games are now going to VR,
Yeah, VR is
which
kind of
terrifies me.
a huge thing now too.
It looks fun, but I'm also like,
I tried VR for the first time like a couple weeks ago when I visited my brother. He's like 4 hours away from here. So I went to visit him. We went to some arcade and / bowling alley. And I tried a VR. We did a VR Godzilla game or whatever. Like we put these things on our heads and everything. We paid whatever we need token wise. And honestly, if you get motion sickness, you'd probably throw up on that. And it was like less than 5 minutes of a game, but it was all over the place. And it was awesome. Like the graphics were really good. It was really cool, but at the same time, I'm like, you know, a little motion sickness. This is crazy. Like, it was all over the place.
well, they have like stands that you can stand on that like you can still
called
walk.
a stand, yeah.
Well, you can walk and run on and feel like you're actually like running and walking.
It's called a treadmill.
Okay, get him out of here. But I feel like the only game that I would really want on VR would be that lightsaber game.
Well, Fruit Ninja also kind of looks cool
Oh,
on
I haven't
VR.
seen that. Yeah, but there's a game that's kind of like, I guess you would compare it to.
It's kind of like Fruit Ninja too.
Kind of. It's like Fruit Ninja meets Guitar Hero. If that makes any sense.
You destroy
We
fruit
got to
with
talk
music.
about we got to talk about Guitar Hero, but before we get into that, we talked about all these consoles. So, when I was a kid on the schoolyard, elementary, middle school, everybody was debating especially when the 360 and the PS3 came out, there were so many debates.
It was head to head in those two.
You were either PlayStation all the way or Xbox all the way.
Yeah, I fought people,
And you
Facebook
were
on
rich
it.
and had both.
Like I was all about it. I'm like, listen, listen, Linda, we got some issues.
You were a PlayStation 3 guy.
At the time, I was a PlayStation guy. My biggest argument that I could actually beat Xbox with was the fact that PlayStation Online was free.
Yeah.
Xbox, you had to pay for membership in order to
$60
play
for a
online. You had
year.
to pay for a year. PlayStation didn't have to.
Right.
You know, and then like I would get in debates with people, like especially when I went to college. And one of my roommates, his name is Ben. He was a big gamer, but he played Xbox. I played PlayStation. We would butt heads all the time. He's like, yeah, yours might be free. I'm like, I literally just got in a game in like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long at all. Xbox, you have to sit there. He's like, yeah, because it's better quality and like people with better ping and everything else. I'm like, you can have these arguments, but I'm not paying for this. You have to pay for this.
And you see, I was on the opposite side of the spectrum. I was an Xbox guy. But the 360, I mean, if we're looking back on it now, the 360 destroyed the PS3
Well,
in a lot of aspects.
the 360, the PS3 or the PS2?
The PS3, because they were the same era. They came out the same time. They were head to head. The PS3, like you said, the advantage it had was the free online and the exclusives. The PS3 exclusives were... He's getting ready to fight. I see the eyes. I'm just saying, if you look at numbers-wise, the
Matt's
Xbox
face.
was... The 360 was more successful. I'm not saying I hated the PlayStation 3. My buddy had it. We played it all the time. It was great. But if you look at just like overall numbers, I would think the 360 did better because the PS4 was kind of like the comeback child to that. That's what I've always read. That's what the impression I've always had. Feel free to schoolyard debate it up here, but he's ready. I see it in his eyes.
Interesting.
He's like, oh, we're going there.
This podcast was a mistake. I gotta go. No, I don't know. I guess I didn't play enough of the 360 back in the day. Like, in my opinion, it just took a long time. And the 360's biggest thing I think they had going for them that was over the PlayStation was Halo.
Oh yeah,
And I mean, they're still trying to bring back Halo. Like, everybody still really enjoys Halo. But PlayStation didn't have that. But in my opinion, PlayStation also has like
Really good
iconic
exclusives.
games. They have exclusive games, free online. Also, I mean, the PlayStation was also easier to manhandle and take places. Pick it up, take it somewhere, as opposed to the 360.
Do you remember the debate, Red Ring of Death or overheating?
Yeah.
I remember seeing a video of somebody grilling a steak on a PlayStation 3 power supply.
Yeah, well,
it's crazy.
I mean, they've come a long way since then. It's crazy. But then, honestly, the debate today, it wasn't too long ago. I still saw, they're still debating which one is better, Xbox or the PlayStation, because of games. Which games are better.
PlayStation nowadays, with their exclusive titles, is just like...
Yeah, I mean...
If that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for that immersive experience where you jump in, you play a story mode...
Yeah, I honestly think...
your route.
Yeah, I think PlayStation have better story games...
Mm-hmm.
And Xbox is got the online thing on lock.
And the multiplayer.
Yeah, the multiplayer.
That's where they're...
Yeah, and that's just I think there's going to be some things coming out with the new Wolverine game.
Mm-hmm.
They got the God of War games coming out. God of War, the next one they're in the process of making. He's going to Egypt now, from what I understand. And they have a lot of exclusives for PlayStation. Like, their biggest thing is the games.
Absolutely.
And then Xbox has their multiplayer online stuff, and that's what they're doing. And that's honestly, if Xbox is better at this point, it is because the big hype now is multiplayer stuff.
Absolutely.
All the games coming out, if they have a multiplayer function, that's what we want to do. Nobody plays campaign games much anymore.
Which sucks, too, because campaigns, I still, I played the campaign for Jedi Survivor and had a blast playing that, played that through in a week.
Yeah. I love playing campaign games.
I haven't played the Black Ops 6 campaign yet, but I do plan on getting into that at some point. I will say, here's the one thing where those consoles win over modern consoles, and I think we can all agree on this.
We'll see.
You can buy the disc, put the disc in, and play the damn game. You don't have to... with the Xbox One, it drove me crazy. You go to GameStop, Target, Best Buy, wherever, buy the game for $60-$70, go home, pop the disc in, and then have to download the game.
That
drove
so
me
stupid
crazy.
to me.
Yeah, no, I prefer it when you just put the game in and it just starts up and you play. But now
That's
they're
what
so
it should
big
be.
and they need all the stuff.
Yeah.
And they do that because they have updates for the games. So even if it's just a story mode game, they still have to do updates in order to do it. So it'll play better, so it get rid of the bugs. But the games are so advanced, so big, eventually, and they can't find all of the bugs. So eventually, when the players find a bug and they complain about it, then they come out with the updates, or add-ons or something. That you can
DLC,
get.
whatever.
Yeah, so it's not as simple as just putting a disc in anymore.
And that's honestly the whole reason I was going to buy a Series X. And that's why I went with the Series S, because I was like, if I buy the game, if I buy the disc, I'm going to have to download it anyway. I might as well just get the Series S where it's all, there's no hard disk drive.
Yeah, I debated on which one to get for a while because Series X is obviously it's like $200 more than the S. But the way I see it is the Xbox is also my DVD player.
Yeah.
It's literally everything. And, so I was like, and I still have a lot of games where I have discs,
right? And
I want to go back and play them at some point.
And that's why I kept my Xbox, my Xbox One in the other room because I still have the disc drive in that one. So that's ultimately why I went with the Series S. It's behind my TV. I have it all up there. Same with my Switch; it's up there. But yeah, no, those schoolyard debates got heated.
Oh yeah,
they got really heated. And then we've talked about multiplayer, online gaming when that came into play. I think the original Xbox, was really the catalyst for that.
I think it was. I think the Xbox definitely capitalized on that, and they were kind of the start of the big thing.
Because, when the Xbox did that, I remember you had to go buy an attachment to stick in one of the controller slots so you could play online. Or you could hardwire it if you had that capability.
Like Stone Age gaming.
Just about. It was like the revolutionary era of gaming.
Yeah, it was like a big deal. Yeah.
But, the Renaissance era, I should say, of gaming.
Yeah.
The Xbox, OG Xbox kind of started that, and then the PS3, the 360 really drove that point home.
Oh, yeah.
And now if you go online, there's it's something I like to an extent, but also don't like is the censorship. Because you used to, when you were 13, you get on Xbox Live, you go into a Modern Warfare 2 lobby, it was brutal.
Oh, shit got real.
Yeah, oh my God.
Well, yeah, but it's because of the 8-year-olds that kick your butt online on Black Ops is why you have to be censored. Because, I mean, like I said, I try to be the best. For a while, I try to be the best in the gaming. And then when I'm getting my butt kicked on Black Ops or some Call of Duty game from an 8-year-old, and I'm I'm playing with 8-year-olds and getting my butt kicked. I just gave up, honestly. I was like, I'm just doing the best I can and try to think of excuses why they're better than me. That's all I can do. So, but I think it's because of the wide range of audience. They have to censor it.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I mean, everybody's, precious about any word that comes out of your mouth.
People get butthurt a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, Rocket League. That's a game that I like to play online. It's a free online game. If anybody wants to play it, I'm just saying it's really fun. It's soccer with cars. And it's fun. But you can send messages up on there and try to talk. I mean, I've put things up there like LOL, and it puts it all in stars because it's too much. And I'm like, okay. It's lol.
I was like, come on. These people never went into a Modern Warfare 3 or Modern Warfare 2 lobby on 360.
I mean, if people that today went into a lot, went back in time and they went on there, I mean, there would have been a place that the PlayStation would never evolve past that because they would have gone in riots and parades about the PlayStation and online play, and they would be done.
It was I heard words and slurs that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah, you had to have a dictionary with you while you played multiplayer so that you can what
Urban
is this?
Dictionary.
Yeah, what the heck does this mean? And again, it would have to be an actual book because you didn't have a cell phone.
Yeah,
that could just look it up. So you have a dictionary.
0607, you had the first iterations of smartphones. You could go online.
I mean,
but
not all of us did, bro.
Not all of us.
My first phone was a little track phone. And the only game I had was Snake 2.
Heck yeah.
And that's all I had.
That sucker up.
Yeah,
too,
I'm just deep.
You ever played Tetris, man? That game was legit.
Tetris, I mean...
I'll still play some Tetris.
Look, Minesweeper, okay?
Minesweeper, you can play for days. At least Weird Al could. But if we're going to go into what are we talking about? Right after I said something about the Snake game or something like that. Shoot. You
were talking about the offensive chat in Modern Warfare 2 lobbies and how you needed an actual book or a dictionary.
Yeah, it was something after that, and then Taylor said something and threw me off.
Well, if I don't jump in, I don't get to talk. It's hard enough with him. Now both of you are here.
Okay, what do you have to say?
Well, I was gonna ask, was Halo online?
Yes.
That explains it then.
Yeah.
I hated online gaming for a long time, and that's because I would get put to the side so that he could play. Not you, but my significant other. I'd be sitting on the bed just watching him
Her
for
ex.
hours play.
Let's just clear that
Halo.
up.
Yeah, I figured that
And
out.
I'm just like, and then my brother got into. So y'all know I grew up on like racing games, like car games.
Yeah, NASCAR. Did you play NASCAR?
No, actually, I
It
wasn't.
was like
that
Need for
redneck.
Speed.
Oh.
and
Need for Speed.
I played Most Wanted. So good.
Hot Pursuit 2, man. That's where it was at. You get to play as the cop.
Yeah.
So these like combat games were a whole nother world to me. And then my brother got into it, and I'm like, what is happening? Like I felt like I was being left in the dust because I was like, yo, PlayStation 2, all the way.
Got
Yeah.
you.
I was
you're-
locked in.
You're talking about Halo, right? Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
yeah. I just making sure.
Halo was a. I mean,
Do you guys remember the graphics on those games?
yeah.
When you play online, like Halo 007, like the graphics are so bad. Like
But at
it's
the
just like
time,
a couple
they
of
were
cubes,
so good.
and that's just a couple of white
Well,
cubes.
not Halo. Not
Right.
Halo though.
Halo was
Like,
good.
Halo had,
Halo
like, a
like
big
revolutionized. Like, I think Halo had a just as big of an impact on online gaming as as anything else did. Halo, like, there was a time where that's what you played.
Oh yeah,
You would get on Halo and you would play Infected.
Yeah,
Well-
Halo was the revolutionary aspect for Xbox.
And then
Oh,
Minecraft
yeah.
came out. Remember, Trevor got really into Minecraft.
That's such a stupid game.
I've never played
I hate Minecraft.
Well, okay, so like online
from-
gaming
from
came
a-
out when my brother was younger, so that's why he got into Minecraft.
From a kid's perspective, Minecraft's legit.
Right.
Like, if you're like a kid, like, I could just do whatever. And that, I
Right,
think
but-
that's why I enjoy Ark so much, because, like, I never played Minecraft. And I'm like,
Are you comparing Minecraft with Ark right
It's
now?
not
to
like
some
building stuff?
extent.
Hold up. Hold
To
up.
some extent. I'm just talking about how you could just go build whatever you want to build. Like, in Ark, like, yesterday, I was like, all right, I'm waiting for those guys to get on. I'm going to go build a craft room. And I could just go do it. I
Yeah.
kind of like that open world gaming when, as much as some people probably hate it, we got to thank GTA for that. That open world where, like, you don't necessarily
you
have
don't
to
build
be
a
on
lot
the
in GTA.
story. So you could go, like, you could just go do whatever you wanted. You didn't have to play the story.
Yeah, the open world.
Yeah.
Free to do whatever you want. Kind
And
of
that's how Ark is, and that's how Minecraft is, to my understanding.
thing. Yeah. Sure.
But no, Halo, man, just completely. I think it gave gaming a huge push.
It gave Xbox a huge, but it's
Yeah.
it's like Netflix. When Netflix came out with the streaming, it changed the world of movies. When it came out for Halo and stuff for the Xbox, it changed the online thing became the biggest thing you can do when it comes to video games.
Oh yeah, and then you got to think, and you go back to like the GameCube, the PlayStation. Like, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Tony Hawk video games and Rock Band and Guitar Hero, because like, dude, the Tony Hawk, everybody had the Tony Hawk games. Everybody had.
I mean, he was the big
Underground
thing at the
2.
time. Like that was skaters and everything else, and Tony Hawk he was a big thing at the time. And they would make video games based off of people.
Yeah, so you could go in there and play as Rodney Mullen or go play as Steve-O, which I don't know if you saw it when you walked in. I have a autographed Steve-O Tony Hawk wall ride picture there.
Oh, not the Steve-O from Wild Boys.
No, Steve-O from Wild Boys, yeah.
He's a weird dude.
He's actually, so he got, so,
You know, he's got a tattoo on his back of himself, right?
yeah, I know.
He also works with PETA.
Listen to me. Steve-O got clean. He does a podcast, and he's a fantastic dude now. Like, if you go listen to his podcast and watch his content, you'd be like, that's the same guy?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
He was the same guy that got in a slingshot that was made up of. It was a big porta-john full of poop and slingshot. That guy. Yeah. Okay.
Are you not a Jackass person?
I love Jackass. I love Wild Boys. I love Jackass. I love all those. And I'm a fan of all of them, even Steve-O. But being as a person who worked in zoos and finding out that he is a supporter of PETA, I can't stand behind him completely on his new him, if that makes sense. Like, PETA is completely against what zoos represent and are doing. So I don't like that. So I'm like, Steve-O.
I think I would urge you to check his stuff out now, because he doesn't really talk about PETA. He just talks about being an animal lover. That guy loves animals.
Well, I mean, I could see
he
that
bought
in
a
Wild
property
Boys
in-
episodes.
He bought a property here in Tennessee to open an animal sanctuary. Like,
I mean, that's awesome. I mean, I
100% true.
I love that, honestly. But I just hope that he doesn't follow the. If he's going to open an animal sanctuary, then that doesn't really follow PETA's
right.
rules. So I'm curious to see if he actually follows them still, or if he's just, he decided, wow, these guys are freaking crazy. I should be more realistic. If that's the case, I'll definitely follow more.
We're getting off. Yeah, I would urge you to check him out. We're getting off topic, but
Off topic a little bit.
it's all good. I would urge you to check his stuff out now. I seriously, I love the guy, but I mean, the Tony Hawk games, like you said, that was like huge at the time, and then Guitar Hero came out.
I couldn't play the guitar. I tried. I just played on the controller. Like, I kill it on a controller, but then everybody like really get on my case. Like, you're not a Guitar Hero player if you can't use the guitar.
You don't use the guitar.
Yeah, I got a lot of crap for that. I'm like, well, look.
I remember having a Rock Band. Like,
yeah, when they came
the
out with like
boys
the
would
drums
go over
and
to
stuff.
yeah.
They have the drums. They have the guitar.
She still has all of it.
I have it for the Wii.
That's it. I didn't know they had it for the Wii. That's
They
weird.
did, yeah.
That's crazy.
It's
I just put our Wii like back together essentially like what 2
a
weeks
couple
ago.
weeks ago, yeah.
And so for the longest time I was like, wait, this stuff is just taking up space. Like we have
How
3
big is your Wii?
Well, I have 3 guitars because I have 2 for Rock Band. No, I have 2 for Guitar Hero, 1 for Rock Band. I have the whole drum set. I have the mic stand for the.
So you put everything up.
I have everything. I was
If
like,
you go into our towel room, you see it all in there.
I was like, we don't need all this. But then I was like, but I can't get rid of it.
It's got sentimental
can't.
value at this point.
It was so much fun. Like honestly, he came in one day and I was sitting there rocking out to Guitar Hero. I was like, you know what, this is great. My eyes hurt really bad.
I couldn't get. I think it was my pinky or something.
Yeah,
like my
pinky's
fingers
hard.
don't spread that far. Like, I don't know how people do it. I'm like, I can't.
Try playing one of these.
Yeah, it doesn't. Like, I can't. Like, I've tried. Like, I can't do it. I'm like, and it would just irritate
I could never
me.
get past medium because I can't get the orange key.
It's like the last one. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't get. I know a kid who played. His name was Billy. Billy Crane. I went to school with him, and he played Guitar Hero, and he played on the hardest mode you could, and I couldn't even keep up with the colors. But he's like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
freaking through the fire and flames.
Yeah,
You
I
thought
could
you were going to
not-
explode.
I didn't think it was possible. I was like, people actually can do this? Get out of town. But he's just like going to town. I'm like, no.
If you think it's impressive watching somebody play that on Guitar Hero, watch the guitarist for Dragon Force play the song. It's insane.
Crazy.
We always had fun like playing it for a while, and then you look around the room because everything is like moving because your eyes are so used to like watching stuff like come
It's
at
like
you.
roller skating. You go roller skating for like 2-3 hours. You get off and
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like you're still skating.
I love
Well, like I grew up with a
skating.
trampoline, and we get off the trampoline at the end of the night.
Feel like
and you're
you're
laying in
still
bed, and you're
bouncing.
like,
Why am I bouncing still?
the world is moving.
Why am I skating still?
I love skating.
No, dude, those games were huge.
Yeah.
Blew up, and then I think the newness wore off of it. It's like any trend. Eventually, it's going to start to slow down and die out a little bit. So I think that's, I feel like if they brought it back at some point in the future, just because like our generation is so big on nostalgia, I think it could be successful.
Well, I think
it's
what
just got to be the
happened-
right time though.
Yeah.
I think what happened with that is online gaming came out. So all of the, in my head, how this worked is all the guys went to online gaming, all the girls went to Just Dance.
All right. I mean, I was pretty good at Just Dance.
Okay, well,
That's
all
like
the
all-
girls,
All the
some
girls.
guys.
All the girls and Matt went to Just Dance.
Yeah, all the ladies and Matthew.
All the single ladies.
I mean, that's a good point too. I didn't think about it that
We
way.
grew
either.
up.
Yeah,
That's what happened. And now we're all like,
Well, no. The ladies grew up. Guys are
The
still.
boys are still
We're
the
still
same.
playing online. We're still
Yeah.
getting pissed off at
You're
8-year-olds.
still like,
We're-
how did you get me through that corner?
yeah, it's the same thing every game, and trying to explain that to your significant other, like, this is relaxing to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
this isn't
Is
stressful
it?
at all.
Is
And
it
you're just like sitting in the other room, like hearing him cuss out the TV. You're like, I don't think. And then like you hit this wall a lot.
I try not to. I really do, but like
I
if
sit
you,
there, I'll mute the TV.
because my
and I'm like,
chair,
"Is he okay?"
my chair will be like angled up against that wall, and I'll have the footstool out, and I'll like go to reach for the charging cable that I have plugged in over there, and it just crush the wall.
You have, like, just,
And
like,
it
holes
is
all
so
over this
loud
wall.
in there. I'm like,
Probably
is he
echoes. Yeah.
okay?
You mean, how many times like I want to like I physically want to throw my controller.
Oh yeah,
Like, I don't.
Need a wrist strap.
There was a couple times I did throw my controller, but I literally, as I went to throw it, I paused. I was like, slow motion. For example, like
$70 for this damn thing.
And I'll throw it, and I hit the pillow on purpose. I was like, that way I threw it, but it didn't
it gets it
ruin
out.
my controller. And this was like a few years ago, back when before I matured.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Now, kind of getting into like current age of gaming and something that like I wanted to get your opinion on because I don't think we've talked about this at all. Microtransactions, dude. Remember when those were introduced?
Explain it.
So microtransactions, like on Call of Duty, the TMNT skins that are
Like
going on
in-game
right now.
purchasing.
Oh,
you
yeah.
could go and buy the skin, or you could buy different weapons.
Yeah.
That's referred to as microtransactions, and it's a mixed bag. Like it really is. A lot of people. I'm on the train that's like, okay, if you want to buy a skin for your character, that's one thing.
Yeah.
Like if you want to buy a skin, if you want to buy this, but you shouldn't be able to buy things that make you better in the game.
Well, yeah.
Because it's an unfair advantage.
Well, that's how it was started, though. Like, they started with buying things so you have an upper hand. Like, you buy this gun, so everybody's got these weapons that are, just basic stuff. It's no big deal. But if you pay $20, you can get this OP weapon, and it'll give you an advantage, and then people would buy those.
Right.
And like, now, like, when we play Call of Duty, I just bought a pack, the TMNT pack. I got Leonardo, and it came with... Shout out to Leo. And it came with a whole bunch of stuff with it, including 2 guns.
Yeah.
But my gun that I have worked on this whole time is way better than the guns that I got with this pack. So back then, like, they would come out with these things where to give you an advantage, and you're like, well, I didn't have all the money to pay for it, so he's a cheater. And now it's not to that point. So something happened in that time frame. Yeah.
But like I remember when Black Ops 2, when Battlefront 2, the new one came out, which the OG Battlefront 2 wore that game out too.
I heard that game was better than the first one. Battlefront 2 was better than Battlefront 1.
Are you talking about the old games or the newer versions of them? Because the old games, yes, Battlefront 2 was better. Battlefront 1, the new one, was good. The second one was also.
Yeah, I think I'm talking about the older ones.
You're definitely the older ones. Battlefront 2 was far superior. Yeah. I actually still have that game. I can download it on my console.
Nice.
But no, so like that's just an area that sticks out to me with microtransactions because people were pissed about it.
Yeah,
and the game almost pretty much tanked because of that. That was the only reason, and it was a great game. It had a great campaign mode. Great online gaming, like, dude, you could run through Hoth or Endor or like all these maps as stormtroopers or droids or the rebellion or clone troopers, and then you get all these points and you can go play as Anakin or Obi-Wan or whatever character you want to use, and it was so much fun. But the microtransactions just killed it. I'm in the party that like if it makes you better in the game. I'm not a huge fan of it because it's like you're kind of making it
you didn't earn it,
right? You're making it an unfair,
right? You didn't earn it, field. So it's not like if you put so many hours into a video game,
right?
And you think you're pretty good. I mean, you've got this good gun, you've got this good stuff, and then someone comes in here with like who just started playing 2 days ago and is destroying you because of the stuff they bought with money. It's just like that's kind of irritating to me.
And it'd be one thing if like the TMNT skins, perfect example. It's 2,400 COD points. It's like $20. Like, why is that skin 20? If it was $5, I'd be all about it.
Well, I think it's 20 because it comes with a bunch.
It comes
of stuff
with a bunch of stuff, but like if you should be able to just buy the skin by itself if you don't want the extra.
Oh no, I get really irritated. Like if I just want I see some like a specific gun or something that I want, I was like I just want that. Like but you can't buy just that. You have to
buy the entire shebang.
Shebang.
Yeah, and so that's kind of the current state of gaming is, you can still grind out like old school, grind out, get what you want, like still do really good with the OG, but if you want to be like ultra competitive, you kind of have to pay to play, which sucks. And it's funny to say that too, because on the same flip of the coin, like the competitive leagues, like you got your FaZe and all the other ones. They limit them to certain guns. Like you can have this gun, but you can't have this attachment or this attachment. Like these are your loadouts you get to choose from.
Yeah.
And I like that they do it that way because it evens the playing field.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
So it's kind of crazy to me that became a thing. But I guess to close this whole episode out, what would you like to see, Matt Taylor? What would you like to see next in gaming? Like, what's something that you would like to have introduced to gaming going forward that you would really enjoy, that you feel would be a great addition?
Age groups. I want to play with other 30-year-olds. Get my butt kicked by an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, that's probably the only thing. I mean, I don't mind the gaming that they have now. Like they've come so far graphics wise, and that's my biggest thing is the graphics. Like when I followed God of War, I mean, going from the PS2 to PS3, that was revolutionary. And I mean, I was in love with those games because the graphics were so much better. And I liked how it also went into more detail, like when he would, stick his blades into a centaur or something like that, and the guts would come out. I'm like, that's
like
awesome.
A Street Fighter.
Yeah, let's not
almost
censor things. Let's destroy some shit. You know, like that kind of thing. But honestly, I mean, I feel like I wish they didn't censor as much. I wish that they would just let it be what it is. Like, people need to know what's going to happen if you get your head chopped off, or something like that, or you get your head blown off. Like, they need to know. Yeah, so that's my thing.
Taylor, any thoughts?
I mean,
there?
I'm really, 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 really new to the online world.
Like the past month.
Yeah. So there's still a part of me that's in that PlayStation 2 mindset. And I just feel like it's too stupid expensive. Why do I have to buy 15 things to play one game with you guys?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get the Game Pass, and then you got to get the next thing, and then you got to get the game, and it's a whole...
Yeah, it feels a little bit ridiculous. But like I said, I'm new to the online thing, so...
That used to not be the case. Like 360, you bought the 360, you got a controller,
Mm-hmm.
you got a headset, you just have to buy live.
Yeah, you got a headset with it. Yeah, you don't do that anymore. Like, it'll come with like a charger, one controller, and the system.
Yeah, that's
everything else comes extra. You got to buy it on your own. Chargeable batteries, headset, you name it. Everything comes separate.
Yeah.
And the games nowadays too are so
Like
stupid expensive.
$70.
$70 for a new game for the new systems.
And it's like, I understand. So like with VR, for example, I understand that's a lot of science that went behind that. I'm sure it costs X amount of money to produce that stuff, but it's
Engineers.
like, I'd really love to play that lightsaber looking game, but like, I'm scared to even look up how much that system's going to cost.
$350 to start.
No thanks.
Oof.
Yeah, you used to buy, that's something too, man, that like, just the current state of gaming is great. Like there's some things, yes, I would like to see differently, like being able to pop a disc in and just play your game, but the current state of gaming is it's so advanced, but at the same time, you used to be able to go buy a console for $200, spend another $40-$50 on a game, pop that, get home, plug it in, pop the disc in and play, and you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, everything is digital. A lot of people are just buying digital now. But like my opinion, like what if something happens to something like on their end, the software, and you could potentially lose everything that you have or something, or you forget your password or something crap like that. People got 8,000 passwords now, and then in order to get into your account, you have to have these passwords, username, and then. But if you had a disc, it doesn't matter. Like you just put the disc in and play whenever you want.
I had to create a whole
memory cards.
Memory
man.
cards.
Like, freaking PS2, you pop the memory card in. You're like, crap, which memory card was it?
Remember they had like passwords? Like you had to get to a certain level to get a password, otherwise you lose all of your progress. Some games even like there's the old Star Wars game for Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
You just I remember going to I tried to beat that game, old Star Wars, and I had to leave my Super Nintendo on for days at a time because if I turn it off, everything is gone.
Over.
And I was just like,
there were Mario games
codes,
like that too.
Nothing. I hate it. Yeah, the same. I'm like, I hated it. So I was like, I'll just leave the system on all day, come home, play it a little bit more, leave it on all night, all day. I mean, and they still worked.
Yeah, they were built different.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
You do that now, bro.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, the fan isn't doing its job. I gotta
Your
get a new part
motherboard's
to it.
going to
Like,
be gone.
Yeah, it fries everything with the old school stuff. It's like,
Hey, we've come a long way from having to blow into the Nintendo 64 cartridges.
I kind of miss blowing.
But
Nintendo
that
games.
was so much fun.
And then
You remember-
wondering if your PlayStation 2 is going to start up right? You're just waiting for that screen to change?
The scratch in the disc, you had to go with the toothpaste, like intricately clean
and
it.
They came out with like the new things where you put your disc on the thing and it's like automatically it cleans it or something.
Yeah.
That goes in the scratch so it works better and everything. Those are the days.
That was our version of a scratch on a vinyl, on like a record.
I don't think we've sounded as old as we do just now. This
Yeah,
podcast.
no. That's
I
crazy.
mean, okay, even
Remember the
when we were
days?
growing up, Nintendo 64 was a pretty old system. So.
How about, dude? You know what I miss? Cheat codes.
I remember, cheat codes.
Cheat codes.
Oh yeah, I
dude.
just put
Shark.
all the cheat codes in for the Wii so that I could unlock all the songs on Guitar Hero.
Yeah, cheat codes were
Ouch.
legit.
That's honestly, that's kind of goes against what we just talked about like
I
cheating.
Okay, look.
But the thing
I
with
have
cheat
beat it
codes is
before,
it would
but I got a
unlock
new
stuff
system.
that you would just unlock later in the game, and you could just have fun. Like GTA, you could have like I'm playing GTA San Andreas. Oh, I need weapons. You put in the cheat code, and you get all the weapons. You go terrorize stuff. Like
The Wii that I currently have is not the Wii I grew up with. My mom kept the original Wii because she wanted to use it for Zumba for exercise. So she got me one at like a flea market or some off the wall
it's like
place.
$45.
So I have won Guitar Hero before, so I'm not cheating. I just haven't won it on that system, so I unlocked all the all the songs.
I'm just saying, it's literally like,
Yeah.
you're buying a gun so you're better because you don't want to put the time in, and you do the same thing with cheat codes.
Yeah.
But like
fine.
they're like Tony Hawk cheat codes. Like you could do one so you don't fall off your board while you're
I'm sorry.
grinding.
With Tony Hawk, I'm just hitting a bunch of random buttons.
That's playing Tony Hawk.
That's Soul Calibur and Mortal Kombat to a T. Before we do go, I want to also point out the one thing about gaming that I don't know if a lot of people actually think about nowadays, but when it came to video games, you remember like if you needed a walkthrough, you had to call a phone number, and there were people who were hired to just sit and know
In a
a
call
game
center.
inside and out in a call center, and they'd walk you through exactly what you had to do. You didn't have a booklet, you didn't have the internet,
Yeah,
you had to call
dude.
somebody, and their job was literally to sit there, know this game in and out, and they would walk you through exactly what you had to do. And like, there was like they had like a Netflix special on it or something.
Then you got remember like Nintendo Power where it give you tips and
Yeah,
stuff.
do you tips and tricks, and then they started doing little booklets.
Video
and
game
walkthroughs.
magazine. You can go to
Huge
Walmart
books.
and buy those
huge
giant
books at
books.
Walmart or GameStop where they'd you start going through. You have to read exactly how you do it and stuff.
Like,
Those
how
are-
do you play Mario Kart for dummies? Like,
Yeah, it was just it was like or like Zelda or something like that. Like, how am I supposed to get to? First of all, I don't know why they call it Zelda. You're Link the whole time.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Girl power, I guess. Girl privilege.
that's one game that I never got into with Zelda.
I never got into Zelda either. I think it's
I
just
never
'cause
got
of the
into
title.
Pokemon. Like, I was never big on Pokemon. I don't hate Pokemon. I just never got into it.
The same thing with Final Fantasy. I refuse to play the Final Fantasy games because it's never the Final Fantasy.
No, it's
There's a whole bunch of them.
it's kind of like the Friday the 13th series. Like you'll have like Jason returns and then Jason's back again. It's like,
It's always
it's like
it doesn't
where
make
did
any
he
sense.
like he died for like 20 minutes and came back, dude. Like what are we talking about? Either way, no. Gaming in our lifetime has come a long way. It's going to continue like everything to develop and grow into what it is. I guess we should mention the games we play. We've been playing Disney Speedstorm. That's fun.
It's a free game.
Haven't played that much a lot recently because we've been kind of grinding it out on Arc, which has been a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. Thank you, Matt, for getting me into that. She's laughing because she's like, oh, he enjoys it. I just want to play Speedstorm.
I remember I told Taylor about it. I was like, this game is going to consume your life. It's consuming Pat's life.
It is
Which is
very
in
much-
turn
And then now
consuming mine.
Taylor's also being pulled into this.
But it's fun though. Like yesterday, we ran the oil mission and it was successful. And then there's missions that we've run that have not been.
The point you brought up to me, which makes a lot of sense, is you said, I really like it because we make our own missions. It's not like you get on Call of Duty and it's like you got to do these specific things. And
Yeah.
I understand that. That makes sense. But also, I hate doing the same thing every day.
Yeah, it's a lot of grinding. It's a lot of the same stuff. But I guess it's like a survival game.
Yeah.
You're forced to do these things whether you like it or not in
Yeah.
order to survive and
Yeah.
continue on with the game. Otherwise, we're just be stale and stagnant.
Which we were talking yesterday. We really want to. We really want to hunt. We want to go on a hunt and tame some more dangerous dinos.
Yeah, we need to start breeding and stuff so that we can start exploring caves, which are very dangerous, to get artifacts so we can go against bosses and stuff. And
You ready
eventually,
to go find another Rex?
So what we have to end up doing at some point too in the future is go to the next map. But I don't know if Game Pass. I feel like Game Pass should have the other maps.
I'm not
Yeah.
buying anything else.
Let's say it shouldn't. You shouldn't have to
Put my
buy
foot
it. If
down.
it's at the Game Pass, then it should be
No, you got all
maps
the
on
DLC too.
right. You should have the DLC. So like
Okay.
the next one we'd be doing was Scorched Earth, and you guys are gonna. You might fucking hate it, but it's a lot of fun. you're in
You're
the
gonna
desert.
hate it, but it's great.
You're in the desert, but you get different stuff.
I mean, I didn't really care for Ark at first. Like, I was like, this is kind of weird,
lame
dude.
sauce, yeah.
And then we started building stuff. I was like, okay. And then started taming down. I was like, all right, I see where the appeal is.
I
now.
see where this is going. Yeah,
I like what we're doing here.
it's like when you're the first time you're being intimate with somebody else. You're like, I don't know if I like. Okay, I like this. We should do this more.
What is that
I
like?
feel like Ark is just Sims for men.
Kind of
Sims?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yes.
survival sims.
Yes.
No, Sims is completely different. That's not even the same thing.
Okay, fine. It's Sims and Minecraft.
She
no,
just-
no.
dinosaurs.
There's an Instagram page called there I ruined it or something like that. And that was just the reaction.
Totally ruined this game for
Look,
me.
I ruined
Done.
it.
Done with this.
I know. I
Either
ended
way.
up deleting Sims because I was like, I'm basically doing it over in this game. So
Either way,
Shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
either way, to close this out, Matt, you'll be with us for the Thursday episode, which we're going to
Alright.
record right after this anyway. So, peel back the screen a little bit there. But thank you for joining us. It's been a fun conversation today thus far. Of course, we got another one to do after this. But if you like this episode, hit the like button, subscribe or follow if you haven't already. All of our links are in the channel descriptions on both Spotify and on YouTube. Check us out on TikTok because we're actually posting content over there. Instagram, it'll happen eventually. But until next time, this is Pat and Taylor with special guest Matt signing off.
peace out.
Bye.